Are you struggling with the BRRRR method in 2025 or 2026? Well, in this video, we're going to tell you how using the right lender can make sure that it's a lot easier and have more successful BRRRRs. I'm Danny Nicolino, and I own Roundtown Go, and I help individuals scale their real estate businesses.
I'm Mike Kowalski. I'm with Renovo Financial here locally in Ohio.
So in this video, like I said, we're going to talk about how picking the right lender can make business much easier for you. So to start with, some perks about working with the right lender, and obviously I'm sitting with one today. So this is Mike from Renovo. A couple different perks. So one, he's a DSCR lender, much different than a local bank or a traditional bank. And the nice thing about a DSCR lender, if you haven't heard of that before, is they operate on what's called a debt service coverage ratio. That's what DSCR stands for. And what they care about is if the property cash flows or not. Pretty much in simple terms, they want to make sure for every dollar in debt you make like $1.20 or $1.30, which means you're making more money than what the debt is. That way you can pay for the loan. And they don't really care about your personal financials as much. Credit obviously matters, but you don't need to provide a tax return. And that's the big one, because a lot of self-employed folks that are trying to do loans like this with local banks, it's damn near impossible to get the loans you want because you don't have 2 years of tax returns, or maybe you're trying to save money by showing less income or higher expenses or something like that. So that's a tax strategy, different video. But the nice thing is we can work with lenders like Mike and make business much easier and much smoother. So a couple things. So that's what a DSCR lender is. That being said, there's different echelons of DSCR lenders, and Renovo and Mike is the best, if not one of the best lender that I've worked with personally.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. So I'll let you kind of talk about some of the perks and reasons why within the DSCR lender space and hard money space, because Renovo does both, why Renovo's probably the best lender, if not the best lender to work with.
Thank you. Our goal is to help our investors scale up. As Danny mentioned, a lot of times if you're using conventional banks or traditional financing for your rentals, there's always a limit to a lot of times how many rentals you can have, whether that's from a debt to income ratio, whether that's from just the banks having a cap on how many rentals that you're allowed to do at one time. Where the DSCR model, it is built on, can the property pay for the debt, and can the property pay for the loan? Not can you as the investor pay for it by your W-2s and income verifications and so forth. So it just allows our investors to have many more rentals than they can have going through other traditional financing means. We also offer the hard money loans or the rehab loans or fix and flip loans on the front side to be able to quickly acquire the properties, rehabilitate them, stabilize them, get them to a higher value, and then you can do that BRRRR method and refinance out at the value that you created in the property to pay off the debt, not have so much equity stuck in every single property that you own, and be able to scale quickly and more effectively.
And one of the really cool things is Renovo offers both products, right? So they offer the hard money side, the acquisition side, and you can spin right into their DSCR side. And if you do both, you actually get a nice little discount.
Yes.
So that's a huge perk as well. Also, locally to Northeast Ohio, I mean, that's where Mike sits. Renovo's national, though.
Yes.
All over the country. But they work with appraisers that are local to the market and are investor focused. So they understand what's going on. They understand the market a lot better than a traditional residential random appraiser. And it definitely helps things go much more smoothly. You have to fight a lot less appraisals that way.
Yep. We have found a win with working with the same handful of appraisers in each market. They were all referred to us, when we launched the market, from different investors we work with, title companies, insurance companies, of just, who are the best of the best in the rental side. So they do understand those values a lot better. They understand comps of market rents and values that are coming in. And because we work with the same handful of people so much, when there's something that if there's a disconnect on comps or anything like that.
Values
Our
or-
appraisers
yeah.
are going to sit down and take a look at it and spend the time to make sure that we're getting the right value for all parties, and that everything looks good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's huge because I mean, I've worked with tons of local banks, and there's perks to working with banks. There's perks to working with DSCR. I mean, there's pros and cons to everything, but you can't really. I mean, there's not that level of communication typically, and typically it just doesn't. The conversation doesn't go as well as it would. Working with someone that is relationship based here. So that's really nice. To kind of spin into cost. Obviously Renovo is very competitive in the DSCR space. I'll let you kind of talk a little bit about that.
I think one of the biggest things is we are a direct lender on the DSCR side and for all of our loans. So we aren't working through any third parties. We aren't brokers. We're not. There's no middlemen involved. We are the second largest lender currently in Ohio. We are also the second largest private lender across the country. So we have a lot of great capital market, institutional capital. So with the volume that we do, we are getting pricing that is definitely always going to be on the lower side of the spectrum.
No, I mean, yeah, it's also like it's credit based, right? I mean, you have to have good credit to get the best pricing on loans and stuff, but that is, the same pretty much everywhere. I mean, that's just kind of the nature of lending. So yeah, cost wise, I mean, I think personally, I've worked with many lenders, both DSCR and local banks. Obviously, there are cheaper options out there, right? But you're going to get what you pay for to some respect there. But also at the other side of the spectrum, like they are definitely not the most expensive lender out there. That is for sure. They are somewhere in the middle to low end of that, like in the grand scheme of things. On the DSCR side, they're very aggressive on pricing. I haven't really found anybody to beat them personally. So that's what I would say about costs. I think it's very reasonable, especially for the product you're getting and the service level you're getting. So I'll talk a little bit about service. So on the back end, I have a lot of rentals, and calling your servicer to make changes to like your escrow account or something that like happens with the loan, if you got to do a payoff or trying to refinance or something, or there's just an issue. Maybe you're changing addresses, insurance. Like I said, there's so many reasons why you may have to call the servicer and change something, or there was a bank account got changed, or like so many things. And I will tell you that there are so many lenders out there servicing companies, I should say, because the lender oftentimes sells the loan off to a servicing company that has nothing to do with the loan that you just did. So it's a pain in the ass. And honestly, it's very difficult. I've been fighting one for like the last 6 months to try to get our escrow dropped because they force placed coverage on us that was for insurance that they shouldn't have done because I had insurance on the property that was good for the property, and they messed up. The servicing company messed up. And now we have a massive escrow balance that we cannot get back. And I've been fighting it for 6 months. So that's just on one property, one loan, not a big deal. That's not on like all of them. But my point is, with saying all this, that Renovo does the servicing in-house. So it's very easy when I have an issue just to pick up the phone, call Mike, and be like, hey, we got a problem. It's much easier to solve the problem because he can forward my email to someone who he knows personally, it's in office, and can get the problem solved within a day or two tops, really, usually, or at least get it started if it's gonna be like a long-term thing. Whereas I'm waiting like 4 or 5 months to even start solving the problem with some of these other lenders and servicers because they're just a pain. So working with, even if all else was equal, that piece alone, that they do the servicing in-house, is just by itself. If you do any sort of volume, any sort of rental volume, have like even just like more than one deal, really, it makes it like tons of sense to work with Renovo over a different DSCR lender just for that reason.
And I've gotten those phone calls from Danny already.
Yep, no, and stuff changes all the time. I mean, especially like if you live in Florida, which we don't, fortunately, but like hurricanes happen, and if your insurance company works with Florida, I mean, the rates go up. It it's just what it is. Like, people change insurances all the time. Taxes go up, taxes change. There's issues with calculations. Or you fight your taxes and get them lowered. Like, there's so many things that go on in this space that you need to have someone you can actually call and pick up. Like, how many of you have picked up the phone to call a customer service line and you cannot get a hold of anyone? You're talking to a robot, or honestly, it's just very difficult to communicate. And that is a problem for a lot of people. And in this space, it's very important. That's why I like working with Renovo.
And for us, this Renovo was started based on having the best relationships in the industry. That is how they have scaled up. That is everything at our core of what we care about. And from the servicing angle, you cannot complete that relationship without having the post-closing and the servicing in-house for us. So it's one of the most important pieces of our business, and being able to keep a relationship, keep getting new business from current clients, is just being able to oversee all aspects of the business. So we have from every part from start to finish. All of our underwriting is in-house. All of our capital markets team is in-house. Our servicing team is in-house. So everything, our draw team for our rehab loans for the construction side is all done by us internally. We don't send out third-party inspectors. We don't do any of that because
Which saves costs too.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
that's
And time.
And time.
Speed,
Yeah, time is big,
speed
especially
is
on the
everything.
rehab loan side. Talk a little bit about that. So the rehab loan side. So we talked about DSCR side, right? But both loans close fairly quickly, which is good.
Yep.
But on the DSCR side, obviously the big perks, I think, with speed, is really just the underwriting, right? You don't have to give a financial colonoscopy to a local bank to tell you everything you've ever done financially and your left arm of your firstborn child. Like, you just have to tell them about the deal, right? So that's on the DSCR side. But on the hard money side, talk about that. Talk about the speed and the convenience there.
So from the speed side, like Dan said, and the DSCR side, the biggest time for us in closing is just how fast can we get that appraisal back in hand. In the meantime, we're working on getting all the necessary docs, working with the title companies, just getting everything lined up. So as soon as we have that appraisal back in hand, we can just, get it the rest of the way through the underwriting process, loan approval process, and be able to close. Typically, that takes on a single property, that usually takes about 3 weeks from start to finish. Obviously, for experienced real estate investors, we need to move quicker than that on the rehab loans because acquiring properties and getting them at a discount, you have to move fast. So on that side, we don't have to do in most cases or in many cases we don't have to do any kind of actual full appraisals on those acquisition loans and rehab loans. We can do just basically a broker price opinion that we get back in a couple days. So we try to turn around our fix and flip loans, rehab loans inside about 10 days, 10 to 14 days. And, again, we want to work with we want to build a relationship. So once we get that first loan in, we have everything in the system, all the docs in place for the most part. So it's a very seamless, repeatable process. I have my own, team here in Northeast Ohio. You work with the same people on every single loan. They know you, they know your title company, they know how you operate. So you can just work fast through each project.
Yeah, and on the rehab side, I think the biggest perk is they don't charge interest unless you've actually drawn the money. So, there's multiple different ways to fund properties, right? I mean, a very popular way is through private capital, private money. You get all the money up front, which is nice, but you have to pay interest on all that money the entire time you hold that loan, whereas and that could be a lot, especially if you have a big rehab budget, right? So you can be paying a lot more interest on that type of loan. Whereas with you, I mean, if you do the hard money side and choose to go that route, then you don't have to pay interest on the amount of money you actually draw in, and not the entire loan amount.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, as you're going through the rehab, you're pulling those funds out as you are completing that part. So we don't feel it's fair that you would be paying on interest on money that you cannot have in your account at that time.
Right.
So we just do traditional construction financing. So as you draw down on those funds, you start paying interest on those funds. And the good part of that is as you are getting to the end of the project, where you are either going to be selling the property or refinancing the property, is when you have the most out on interest, but it's at the end of the project, so your carry costs are significantly lower, especially on any of those larger rehabs where there is a lot of money in holdback.
Right. Yep. And we talk a lot about strategies to fund deals within our group, within Round Town Go. So we'll talk about a lot of that in another video as well, to go in the weeds there. But yeah, in general, I mean, that's a summary of why working with a good lender makes real estate in general, but definitely BRRRRs in general for 2025, 2026, 2027 much, much easier, and a lot more deals pencil in.
To second that, I think having a good partnership with a lender, your lender, we do consider ourselves partners with you. We are aligned in the same goals. We want to make sure they're successful projects. We want to make sure if you do plan on keeping the property as a rental, that it's going to work out and pencil out for you on the back end when you're refinancing the project. So because we have a lot of experience, we do these thousands and thousands of times over. We know what to look for. We know how to keep you safe, help out, give some advice as well as ourselves. So we're not going to do a deal that is not going to work out for you on the back end. We want
Right. The lender won't fund the deal. You probably shouldn't be doing the deal.
Right.
I mean,
But yeah, to get started, let's have a conversation. That's the way to start any good relationship, right? Just reach out to me. My name is Mike Walski. Again, you can reach me at mike@renovofinancial.com. Very simple. Or you can call me 440-429-6732. Just send me a text, give me a call. Let's connect.
if you're looking to learn more about how to scale your real estate company, whether that's flips, rentals, or anything in real estate, check out Round Town Go, www.roundtowngo.com.
And plug for Round Town. We have worked with so many Round Town investors. They've all been awesome. Danny runs a great crew, a great team. Could not recommend them enough.
Thanks. Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a good. It's a good partnership. So, that's it.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
good
much.
day. Till next time.